na Spox. This is another edition of Sema na Spox. And we are happy today to have none other than Madam Beatrice Inyangala, Doctor, the Principal Secretary for the State Department for Higher Education. She's been there since 2022, and she's going to be telling us more about education now that we are focusing on education to see what is it the government has been able to do. But before we go to that, we have usually what government is doing, and we are happy to see the president having visited Tanzania, addressing, the various business people at State House in Dar es Salaam, and also Parliament in Dodoma. And there are many things that they have been able to discuss. Sisi wote ni Waswahili, tunazungumza katika Jumuiya ya Afrika Mashariki, and particularly the issue of having an oil refinery in Tanga that is going to enable the East African community and the countries to have a refinery, because we have oil in Kenya, we have oil in South Sudan, we have oil in Uganda, we have oil in DR Congo, yet we export our petroleum and then we buy refined products. If we have that single, refinery, as promised together with Aliko Dangote, Africa will be able to have its own solutions to its problems, and so that we'll be able now to get all of our products, from that. And obviously, there's a very great trade even between Kenya and South Sudan. They are getting, their petroleum products from Kenya. There's that, collaboration between our government and their government, going forward. And so therefore, we are doing well. We are doing well. And of course, we have been able to stabilize the prices of fuel, even when there have been global crises, as it were. Further to it, the government of Kenya is, in partnership with the World Bank, is implementing 10 dams projects valued at Kenya shillings 184 billion under the bottom-up economic transformation agenda aimed at enhancing water storage, irrigation, hydropower generation, and improving livelihood for an estimated 5.95 million households. If you round it off, that's about 6 million households. If you multiply that by about 5 people in a household, that's about 30 million Kenyans. Ongoing flagship projects include Thwake, which is really big, Mwache Dams, alongside Karimino, Thiba, Katilu, with additional dams planned under the PPP, public-private partnerships, to further accelerate water security. Remember, we promised quite a number of dams, and that is what we are doing. After expression of interest, the Ministry of Water, we just hosted the CS, Eric Mugar, recently here during the World Water Day, and we had a very good celebration in Water for Gender in Meru. Further, there is an alert, of course, from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs through the Embassy. The Kenya High Commission in Pretoria has issued a consular advisory to Kenyans in South Africa to remain vigilant, to avoid protests areas particularly, and comply with instructions from local authorities, and carry valid identification documents at all times, and promptly report any incident to the nearest police station, so that there is no question of where we'll have people maybe being attacked, because we have to protect, our people, going forward. And the government continues and remains to ensure that we have enough, access to justice. That is why you saw the president, witnessing the swearing in of 37 judges at State House. And that is very, very important. Further, of course, you've also seen the president supporting the Kalasha, awards, and also promising the Creative Economy Bill to ensure that our creatives are able to benefit. And he gave a raft of directives that are going to benefit, our creative economy during the recent State House concert for the, drama festivals. Further, also, following the public-private partnerships approved in March 2026, the Geothermal Development Company, GDC, will now begin feasibility studies for a 300 megawatts geothermal project in Suswa, Narok County. The project plans to reach 1,000 megawatts by the year 2027, tapping into the area's 750 megawatt potential. And you can see, because already our output here as a country, we only have about 3,271 megawatts. So if you get 1,000 extra here, we have the project in Siaya for nuclear. We really want to have over 10,000 megawatts. There's also the solarization program that we were having. We were recently with the president at Githumu, high school. Already they have a 15 million project there. It's a 45 billion project with the KCB. We are looking at the energy issues, going forward. Further to it, the National Government Affirmative Action Fund has announced a call for application for a 3-month UGO Fellowship 2026. The UGO Leadership Program targets Africans aged between 18 and 30 years, focused on sustainability, innovation, and social enterprise, ending with an international exchange program. Eligible applicants must be enrolled in the university courses, and we are very happy to have, PS Inyangala, related to sustainability and green economy with a minimum academic average score of 60%. So lazima hii ni ambacho pia sio wewe unaenda kungedhiangedhia huko kwenye lecture halls. Ukiangalia lecturer ukimpatia jina yake, wengine wanatuita hii anyway, lakini 60% with no prior international travel or criminal record and must apply by June 14, 2026. So they are it's about a month or so, plus a week or so. So please apply. These are opportunities that the government is calling us to do so. And of course, we will be more than willing to communicate, some of those opportunities when they arise, as Office of the Government spokesperson. But now, today, let us focus on the university education. It's amazing that we have a record 86 universities. 40, that's a big scenario. When I was a student, we had only 6 or 7. But today, none other than the Principal Secretary, Dr. Inyangala, will tell us more what we've been able to do for the last nearly 4 years. So let's move to the other side. Yes. Habari yako? Uko salama? Nice to see you. Karibu. Uko salama kabisa. Asante. Now, bas, kuna microphone hapo. Tuanze hii mjadala yetu. Na tunakuona unakaa manyanga. Unajua jina Inyangala na manyanga inafanana kidogo hapo. Sasa, PS, who is Beatrice Inyangala? Ni nani? Ukiulizwa kwa mafupi, how can you describe yourself?
I'm this cheerful girl from a village known as Eshihoni.
Eshihoni?
Yes, in Navaholo. Born 57 years ago.
Oh, wow. Interesting. You look much younger than that.
Yeah.
Unajua, many ladies don't say their age. Where you are comfortable in your skin.
Yeah.
And you look younger. Sindio? Ama mimi namchocha. Si yako sawa? Hata naona Linda hapa. Linda Sigei anakubali na hiyo maneno wakili.
I take it in my stride. And then, of course, I crossed over to Malava.
Okay.
Again in Kakamega County.
That's when you
for marriage.
Okay. But before we come to that, tell us about which school you went to, secondary school, universities. What has motivated you? Where have you worked before until you're here?
Okay, so basically, I speak for the village. I was born in a village. I went to village schools then. Okay, Shibui Primary School in Shinyalu, that's Kakamega County. Then I went to Mukumu Girls up to Form 6, that's Kakamega County as well. Then I joined Moi University in 1988, where I studied a Bachelor of Education Arts, Geography and Economics.
Kwa hivyo watu wa Moi University, mnaona this is your alumni. Yeah,
I still pursued my master's at Moi University.
Okay.
I did Planning and Economics of Education.
Okay. EAP. Let's call it EAP here.
Exactly. Yeah.
Education, Administration and Planning.
Yes, and then...
Which year was this?
For the master's, I graduated in 97.
Okay.
Yes.
Wonderful. So in between there, were you a high school teacher? Were you... what did you do in between there?
I taught at Mombasa Technical Training
Oh,
Institute.
Wonderful.
I also taught at Masinde Muliro when it was still Weko. I wonder how many of these young ones remember anything like Weko.
Yeah.
Western College.
Okay.
Yes.
Wonderful.
I also taught at the...
That's the type. Is it Everett Stander who was the principal?
At Weko? No.
Or somebody else?
Yes. I also taught at Eldoret Poly.
Oh, wow. So you've taught these technical institutions?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Then proceeded to the University of Athens. It's called the National and Capodistrian University of Athens.
Ala,
Greece.
jameni. Yani ati umesema nini hiyo? Sasa wewe unaongea Kigiriki,
In Greek, it's Panepistimio Athenon.
Oh, way.
Yeah. Okay. So I was there from 1999 to 2004.
Oh, that's quite a time. You were doing your PhD there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
In what area?
Education planning with specialization in pedagogy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you all the
Preschool
pedagogical skills.
Yes.
Wonderful.
I mean,
Wonderful.
you
For
plan-
those who don't know pedagogy, it means teaching. It's another, Greek word, pedagogy. So the other name for a teacher is a pedagogue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, because basically we had to, if you're planning for the preschool age, you
Yes,
have
yes.
to understand how teaching and learning occurs, the materials that are required, the processes, all sorts of inputs, the equipment, the infrastructure, and all of that stuff influence the way teaching and learning occurs, and how then we plan for progression for quality education. Yes.
Wonderful. Then after that, 2004,
Okay. I came back. I taught at Moi University.
the same university.
Yes.
Oh, so you went back to your alma mater now as a professor. Wow.
I taught at Masinde Muliro University. Then I worked at the Commission for University Education.
Okay.
That was between 2006 and 2011.
Okay. That's the time of Standard.
Yes.
Yeah, because he was my VC. That's why I keep on asking. After KU, he went to be the CEO of...
Yeah. After that, I worked for an international NGO.
Okay.
That is the Partnership for African Social and Governance Research.
Okay.
Rising through the ranks from a program coordinator all the way to the deputy executive director and acting executive director.
Oh,
so I was
hapo
in the same...
hiyo ni point kubwa sana hapo. Kwa hivyo wale watu ambao mnafanya hapa kwa ofisi ya Spox Programs Department, you can come from a program coordinator to the CEO. Wow.
So basically, when I left the commission, I went for a 1-year contract at the NGO. And my colleagues were asking me, why would you leave a stable, permanent and pensionable job for, a 1-year contract? I said, because I know myself. I know I can work. I will deliver and I will grow. And I did just that.
Wonderful.
So it's good to believe in yourself.
For sure. And so how then did you transition to become PS? I think in the last elections, I think you ran for deputy governor for Kakamega. How did you, transition that whole issue? You have very good experience, from teaching, technical, university, working for international NGOs, and now, to government, mainstream of government.
No, first of all, you have to give credit where it's due. I had a CEO, my supervisor in the NGO. He was called Prof. Tade Aina. Prof. Tade is from Nigeria, but he works for these big organizations in the US. He worked for MasterCard Foundation, and now he works for the Carnegie Corporation of New York. And Prof. Tade always used to provoke me. He used to tell me, you're too big for here. You belong to the world of diplomacy, or you need to find a position as a permanent secretary.
Wow.
That is what would suit you. However, I was very satisfied with my work because I developed a program. I developed many programs, but the one that I'm most proud of, the pedagogical leadership in Africa, was taken up in 91 universities in 11 African countries.
Wow. Amazing.
I also led the development of a Master of Research and Public Policy program. We brought together academics from 14 African countries to work on this program.
Okay.
And you know what it means to maneuver regulatory authorities in different jurisdictions. It's not easy, but we got a good product. It's now being implemented. We have a Doctor of Public Policy program, again, that we pioneered under my leadership, and it's offered in 3 hubs, in University of Pretoria, University of Nairobi here, where it is oversubscribed, and University of Ibadan. So basically, I have a lot of grounding in education. I'm very, very passionate about education. All my life, it's been about education, education, and education.
Wonderful.
Why?
So that has been your passion. So how did you end up becoming the PS?
Okay. So during the 2022 election, I was a running mate to Cleophas Malala for the Kakamega gubernatorial seat. We came second to the current regime.
That was a very closely contested election. I remember it was done even after the president had been declared elect.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. It was a tough race. And subsequently, His Excellency, our President, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, was magnanimous enough to believe that I would do something good for this government in the higher education portfolio. And so His Excellency appointed me Principal Secretary, Higher Education.
Wonderful. And you know, Madam Inyangala,
And so the dream
of
of my
Professor.
former boss
Yes.
came true.
To pass.
Yes.
Amazing. Dreams are valid, isn't it?
So to all the bosses, you know, study, mentor, and push your staff to the next level.
Wow.
I am a beneficiary of that.
Wonderful. That affirmation.
Yeah.
This is really good. And you say he works now for the Dale Carnegie
Corporation of New York.
Oh,
yes.
wonderful. Now, you see, also you are the right person for the job, yes, because if you have actually come up with a pedagogical, solution to that is being practiced in 91 universities across Africa, then you are the best person to run this state department. Now, tell us from the statistics that your office has provided, to us, is that is it 86 universities? What was the state when you came in these universities, and what has the progress been made so far? And what does this, first and foremost, maybe you can start by telling us, what does the State Department for Higher Education do? I remember once upon a time it was a ministry, and the current president was actually the Minister for Higher Education.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when the current president was the Minister for Higher Education, I actually worked with him, because then I was working at the Commission for University Education.
Okay.
And I worked closely with him on the program for accelerated intake into university education to clear the backlog that had been there, where students used to stay for 2 years before joining university.
So you were part of that success, eh?
Exactly.
Because as we used to stay for 2 years before we joined university. Number is 1999 unaingia 01. You waste 2 years in the village.
The president, in his usual style, said, in 3 months, I want a solution. And we went to work.
Wonderful.
And we presented options, and he guided us. And finally, we got the right thing.
Wow,
and we
amazing.
fixed the problem.
Amazing.
He fixed the problem.
Yeah, that's really good. Very transformation, because that has saved many generations, know?
Exactly.
So now, what does the State Department do?
Yeah, before I talk about the State Department, let me just say it's truly a pleasure for me, having worked and served students and touched lecturers and lives in 11 African countries, to take that and consolidate all those efforts into my country. So I feel really privileged, and I give it my whole. In the State Department, we are responsible for university education. That's all the teaching and learning and research that goes on in the universities. Then, of course, that involves, the management of the teachers. We do play an oversight role. We are also responsible for the governance of the universities. That is the university councils, the policies, the strategic direction the universities take. We are responsible for university policies and standards. And we deliver through our SAGAs, semi-autonomous government agencies, for the policy and standards that is Commission for University Education. We are responsible for financing both the universities and the university students, and that again, we deliver through the universities fund and the Higher Education Loans Board. We are also responsible, of course, for the placement of students in these universities, and this is undertaken by the Kenya Universities and Colleges Central Placement Service. So those are the SAGAs that we work closely and we deliver through those. But most importantly, we are responsible for driving reforms in the higher education sector. Of course, you will remember that these reforms were pioneered through the Presidential Working Party for Education Reform. And God rest the soul of our beloved Professor Munavu in eternal peace.
Amen. Thank you very much. So now, what is the current status of universities? Maybe you can give us the statistics there. How many universities, the students, and all of that, and what state did we find, when we came in?
So currently, we do have 86 universities.
86? That's amazing.
Yeah. 46 of those are public and 40 are private.
Okay.
So in 2022, so when we took office, when His Excellency took office and appointed us to work for him, 23 universities were actually insolvent.
What do you mean by insolvent?
They had a negative working capital. What I mean,
Professor, speak English. Ongea lugha ya mtaa kidogo hapo. What does that mean? Majezi ingine wanapoteza network.
Okay. When you compare their assets, and liabilities, they had more debts than the revenues. Does that sound more understandable? They were spending more than they could afford. Does that sound more like it?
Munaelewa ama munaangevia nyinyi watu? Continue, Daktari.
Yes. So immediately we started working with those universities on turnaround strategies. And these turnaround strategies had 3 pillars. The first one was leadership strengthening. Since then, there were very many vice chancellors and deputy vice chancellors who are in acting positions. We have undertaken recruitment processes, and all those positions are now currently filled. We also strengthened the university councils where there were gaps. We looked at the mix of skills that were required to run the universities. So that was the pillar for leadership strengthening. Then we looked at cost containment measures where we worked with them, identified areas where they could actually cut costs, like cutting down the number of meetings by holding virtual meetings, managing their growth, not beginning too many projects at the same time, exploring alternative sources of energy, such as solar power, to bring down the bills. So altogether, that has helped bring down the costs or the expenses.
Okay.
Then the other pillar was diversifying funding streams. And through a range of interventions, including sweating some of their idle assets, including re-energizing and revamping the income-generating activities. For example, Egerton University, the yogurt that you knew, they were no longer producing it. So they revamped it, and now they're producing it. The farm is now operational. So through a mix of those income-generating activities, last year the universities managed to raise 11 billion in appropriation in aid.
Really? That's a lot of money.
Yes.
Wonderful. That's really amazing. So how many students do we have at our public and private universities? And what are the projections going forward, the courses? Is there, so the numbers first and foremost. Number two, is there a kind of market research so that people don't end up with so many degrees that the market does not need?
So we do have 670,000 students in all our public and private universities at the moment. And the 5 most popular courses are medicine, nursing, law, your law, any ICT-related course, and guess what? Education.
Oh, even education still, eh?
Yes.
Wow. Walimu bado wako. So you said nursing, medicine, nursing, law,
ICT-related.
And then education.
Yes,
wow.
yes.
Is that what the market is requiring? That is what people are going for?
So I would say mostly it is what people are going for. But the market also requires doctors. The market requires nurses, requires teachers, requires ICT expertise. When we look at the market, we don't confine ourselves to the local market. We are looking at many opportunities. We are looking at kazi mitandaoni, business process outsourcing, where our graduates undertake assignments online for companies abroad. We also know that our president has signed bilateral labor agreements with many countries. And so the export of labor is very active. So we are looking at all those trends.
So not just the local market?
No.
And it's true, actually, for the last 3 to 4 years, we've taken out 580,000 young people to work, and they're giving us over 5 billion shillings. No, PS, let's stop there. We take a short break, and when we come back, we'll continue with seeking how is it that our universities are contributing to our first world dream of Singapore. Keep it right here on Sema na Spox. Sema na Spox. Bonga na Gava.
Sema na Spox.
Asante sana.
Hizi ni taarifa za wiki hii kutoka ofisi ya msemaji wa serikali, kituo chako cha kuaminika kwa taarifa rasmi za serikali. Kenya na Tanzania zimeimarisha ushirikiano wa pande mbili baada ya kutiwa saini kwa mikataba 8 ya maelewano wakati wa ziara ya kitaifa. Kenya na Tanzania zimeweka lengo la biashara na uwekezaji la shilingi bilioni 195 huku zikiahidi kuondoa vikwazo vya biashara kufikia Juni mwaka 2026. Rais William Ruto amehutubia bunge la Tanzania akitoa wito wa kuimarishwa kwa mshikamano, ushirikiano wa kikanda na utekelezaji wa makubaliano ya pande mbili. Kenya imeongeza kasi ya mageuzi makubwa ya elimu huku Rais William Ruto akifungua kongamano la kitaifa la elimu mjini Naivasha. Kenya imeendelea kuimarisha ushirikiano wa Afrika na ajenda ya mageuzi ya kifedha kuelekea mkutano wa Africa Forward Summit. Serikali imesisitiza mageuzi ya udhibiti na utoaji wa huduma bora wakati wa kongamano la 3 la mamlaka na mashirika ya udhibiti iliyofanyika Kitui. Serikali inaendeleza miradi mikubwa ya miundombinu, makazi na elimu katika eneo la Laikipia Kaskazini. Ushirikiano kati ya Kenya na Tanzania umeendelea kuimarika huku viongozi wakisisitiza ushirikiano wa kina, ukuaji wa biashara na kuondolewa kwa vikwazo ifikapo mwaka 2026. Serikali imehimiza mageuzi ya maadili na ukuaji dhabiti katika sekta ya michezo ya kamari kufuatia mkutano wa pamoja na wadau wa sekta hiyo. Mkuu wa utumishi wa umma Felix Koskei ametoa wito kwa mamlaka na mashirika ya udhibiti kuweka kipaumbele katika utoaji wa huduma. Mageuzi makubwa ya elimu kupitia ufadhili, ajira za walimu na kujifunza kidijitali yanabadilisha elimu nchini Kenya, asema Profesa Julius Bitok wakati wa kipindi cha 27 cha Sema na Spox Bonga na Gava. Mkutano wa Africa Forward Summit mwaka 2026 umeanza leo jijini Nairobi ukiangazia nishati ya nyuklia, mabadiliko ya kidijitali na uchumi samawati. Serikali yaongeza uwekezaji na miundombinu katika sekta ya elimu katika mkutano wa kitaifa wa elimu uliofanyika Naivasha. Polisi wa Kenya wameimarisha usalama katika eneo la ADC kupitia kuhitimu kwa maafisa wa akiba na operesheni maalum dhidi ya uhalifu katika kaunti ya Trans Nzoia. Wizara ya Afya imezindua mkakati wa mwaka 2025 hadi mwaka 2030 wa kuimarisha wafanyikazi wa sekta ya afya nchini. Wadau wa elimu wamekutana katika kongamano la kitaifa kujadili mfumo wa CBC na mageuzi ya sekta ya elimu. Serikali imesisitiza kujitolea kwake katika utekelezaji wa mageuzi ya elimu wakati wa kongamano la kitaifa la elimu. Kenya inaendelea kuimarisha miundombinu ya barabara ili kukuza biashara na ushirikiano wa kikanda. Ni mwisho wa taarifa zetu za wiki hii. Tukutane tena wiki ijayo. Jina langu ni Rahab Adhiambo.
Welcome back to Sema na Spox Bonga na Gava. Bas. Now, PS, which other developments have happened at the university so far that maybe are important, and then after that you can tell us about the new funding model. It's one of the most politicized ones.
Okay, so a key thing that has happened is the establishment of the Open University of Kenya. This was established in August 2023, and it was a major milestone because we had been struggling to establish an open university in Kenya for about 20 years. So really
20 good years.
Yes.
And it has happened under this administration. It's one of our promises that we made, and it has been kept.
Yes. And the most significant change that is caused by this university is that students are able to learn from the comfort of their homes. So this university helps parents and students to overcome barriers of space, barriers of funding, and barriers that are associated with the face-to-face learning in conventional universities. They don't have to travel. So ideally, the costs are significantly cut down. But most importantly, there are those students who had not obtained the minimum grades for university entry, the C+, in the past. And these students, after a while, they have acquired experience. They have done some short trainings. So they are eligible to enroll at the Open University of Kenya. And this is a message that many do not understand. It is something that I would really be grateful if we could emphasize, and if you could emphasize, that those who did not meet the minimum in the past, but have upgraded in one way or another through work, through short trainings, are eligible for admission. Plus, there are those students also who failed to enroll but had met university entry criteria over a period of time. This university also offers them opportunities. And I identified a student from the village who had undertaken sat for the exams in 2014. And now they are at the Open University of Kenya. So it's also giving a second chance to those, target categories of students.
So it's a second chance in life.
No, over and above the normal students. So there are two categories. And it is also very appropriate for postgraduate studies.
Okay.
Because of the flexibility in learning, working officers like some in this room today can take their courses in the evenings. They can take their courses over lunchtime because there's the face-to-face, which is delivered through platforms like Zoom. But there's also the asynchronous, where you just go online and do your exercises, collaborate through collaborative learning activities, answer questions, discussion forums that go on even in the absence of the teacher. Okay. Using online tools.
So now, how many students have enrolled? The last time I think I did a briefing, there were 1,500. What are the current numbers?
Oh, the university has grown phenomenally. Right now, it has 24,000 students.
24.
Yes.
Amazing. And how old is it? Is it 3 years old now, isn't it?
Yes. It was established in August 2023. So that is, slightly just 2.5.
Yes. Yeah. And 24,000. That's exponential growth.
Yes. It has 9,000 degree program students and 15,000 short courses, students enrolled in short courses. Okay. And it has 24 programs in total. Yeah, so that's huge.
Wow.
Yes. Wow. And we also have students from 54 countries across the world, in Africa and beyond.
So now we already started exporting our education that way. 54, that's a huge number.
And it is very affordable. Yes.
Asante sana. Now let's come to the elephant in the room. New funding model. In fact, PS, to tell you, I don't know that you remember, but my first press conference that I ever did on 5th of October 2023 as government spokes was with you and the then Minister Ezekiel Machogu at 3 p.m. At the ministry. Hii kitu imetusumbua kabisa. Up and down. Tunachora tukatuna hapa. You know, my people do public service announcements, trying to do explainers. Tell us about the new funding model, the MTI, all of those, and where are we right now?
Okay. So the new funding model, popularly known as the student-centered funding model, because it supports students directly rather than sending block funding to universities. Is no longer the elephant in the room. It is the transformation in funding university education. This model is resilient. It has withstood all the pressures and stood up to shine. And I'll tell you what, Spox, this year, after the refinement of the model, there was not a single appeal. All the students were satisfied with their allocation. So how does it work? We compute the cost of education. And then we distribute the costs through present and future generation. So basically, there's what the government takes care of, and this is in terms of the loans and the scholarships. And the households only pay a marginal amount for fees. And this is proportionate with the costs of each program. So for example, the cheapest program, Bachelor of Arts, for the student who has the most need is 5,814 per semester. And what was originally considered the premium, most expensive programs that parents could not afford, and that is medicine, engineering. The cost is the maximum cost for parents like whose means are more, who are more resourceful, would be 75,000 a semester. What more? When we had the meetings and discussions with the students during the process of refining the new funding model, the students brought out the fact that when medical students are studying in first year and second year, they do basic science courses like every other student. So they did not understand why they had to pay more. So now the cost of medicine in the first and second year is actually comparable to the cost of any Bachelor of Science degree. And so the average would be around 20,000, depending on the financial capacities of the family. Yes. So that with the leadership of His Excellency the President, we managed to crack the riddle of fees for university programs. And the fees came down. It really came down by between 15 to 40%.
Wow.
Yes.
Wonderful. Now, I think, I don't know whether there's somebody here in the audience. Karibu niseme crowd, najua mimi niko na background ya siasa. Hii inaitwa audience, sio crowd. Ambaye amefaidika na hii new funding model. Naona kuna mzee ako hapa, nafikiri ni mzazi. Let's give let's take over the mic quickly. Iko wapi hiyo mic haraka? Tuambie jina lako na hii mradi ya new funding model imekusaidia na magari kama mzazi. Na umetoka, utuambie pia umetoka wapi?
Asante sana. My name is Solomon Abisu Wanyama from Trans Nzoia County. I'm a parent. The new funding model, when it was first launched, my son was in Form 4. And therefore I was prepared. I thought there was a lot of issues with it. And then he joined university last year. By the time he was joining the university, the most important thing that I celebrate about it, when we received the admission letter, he was going to do Bachelor of Education. He was required to pay 23,028 there.
And how much were you paying Uko High School?
High school, he was in a national school. He was paying, official, they were supposed to pay 53, but they were paying something there. I don't want to him to be victimized, but we were paying something.
So that is to mean now university was even cheaper than the...
It's much cheaper. It was a big relief to us, and it's okay. So I want to say that the new funding model, to me, and to the many families that we interact with, because mine was a little bit higher, but I know of an orphan that paid something that was almost nil. It was very little. And then because I'm a responsible Kenyan, I've been supporting some students even under the old funding model. And I saw there was an improvement in upkeep. Upkeep was increased by almost 8,000 per student.
Wow.
Yeah.
So the defined cost in the model, the new funding model is more superior.
Yes, sir.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Mr. Nabiswa. And by the way, the government has put a very strong warning to universities, to high schools, and people who are saying that they are charging more because money has not been given out. We already disbursed 23.4 billion shillings before the term commenced. So there's no reason why any person should hide costs just because they want to make a kill and they cannot be accountable. Now let's come to questions now. Do we have anybody with a question? Please tell us your name. Let's start with the lady there. Yes, the lady. Tell us your name, where you come from. Are you a student? Are you working? And you shoot the question straight to the PS.
Yes, my name is Francisca Mwangangi.
Speak up, please.
My name is Francisca Mwangangi, a student at Laikipia University. I come from Kitui County. So my question, I want to know from the PS, what the ministry is doing to enhance research financing, partnerships, and innovations, because we are working towards making Kenya more industrialized.
Yeah, thank you very much. Over to you, PS.
That's a very good question, and I'm glad that our students are already thinking about becoming researchers, because we encourage communication, we encourage creative thinking, creativity, critical thinking, and collaboration. And research brings all of that together. So as a government, you know that His Excellency, our President, created the State Department for Science, Research, and Innovation, specifically to enhance research in this country by bringing together all the universities and all the research institutions that you may know of, like Calro, like Cambridge, like KEFRI, all of them to work collaboratively to advance the research agenda of this country. But aside from that, individual universities every year, they set aside seed funding to mentor young researchers, to mentor young academicians who are just starting their research journey, to build those skills and to learn how to write award-winning proposals. Then, of course, we encourage South-South collaborations and North-South collaborations to take advantage of the many funding opportunities worldwide, in Europe, in America. And I must say, when I mentioned that in the last financial year, universities raised 11 billion in appropriation in aid, 5 billion was from research activities.
That's really, really commendable. So in terms of like the national research, the State Department for Research, Science Research and Innovation, how does the Higher Education State Department collaborate with that new State Department? Yeah.
We work like hand in glove. The State Department for Science, Research and Innovation is responsible for stimulating ideas, but the doers of this research are domiciled in the universities. So we provide the manpower, we provide the infrastructure, they stimulate the ideas and partnerships.
Wonderful. That's a very good, division of labor. Thank you very much. Let's come to a next question. Let's hear from you. Yes, I can see you are wearing a very good suit here. A young man. Tell us your name, where you come from, and shoot the question straight to the peers.
Yes, thank you. My name is Wycliffe Maranya. I'm a businessman from Meru County. So over the years, we have seen a significant rise in the numbers of students who have scored C+ and above in their KCSE examinations. So, Madam Peers, how ready are we to sustain these students in the universities, and what are we doing about it? Thank you.
Thank you very much. And we are very much alive to your concern. I want to assure you that universities, as presently constituted, have enough capacity to absorb all the students. For example, this year, the universities had capacities of 323,000, but the eligible students were about 268,000. So you see, we have all the capacities. Yeah.
Good. Yes, let's have another question. Yes, over to you, young man with a nice coat there, blue, if my eyes serve me right. Yes, over to you. What's your name and where you come from? And the question to the PS.
Yes, my name is Brian Mamai from Busia County, and a student in the University of Nairobi. And my question to you, Madam PS.
What are you doing at the University of Nairobi?
Economics and statistics.
Oh, very good. And you, Mwangangi, what course were you doing? Kwani ni bwana ekonomia walikuja hapa wote? Watu wana uchumi. Go ahead. Yeah. Which year?
Personal fourth
PS
year.
wants to know which year?
Final year.
Final year.
Yes.
And you, Mwangangi? Third year. Oh, wonderful, Sawa.
So my question to you, Madam PS, Dr. Beatrice Inyangala, is that which steps is the Ministry of Education taking to align university programs with the job market demands and to reduce the growing mismatch between, the graduate skills and the the industry needs? Thank you.
Yeah, proceed, PS.
That question actually speaks to our road to Singapore. Yes. So basically, we have very strategic interventions to change the way teaching and learning happens in the universities. And as you know, that is my pet subject, pedagogy, the art and science of teaching. I'll just give you an example. If we want to create job creators, because we say we train for the labor market, but we also train you to be job creators. It means, other than your subject competency, you must be able to have the general skills that make you adaptable to any labor dynamics. And again, I'll say communication, collaboration, creativity, and critical thinking. So what example am I going to give? And why is it that the way you are taught makes a difference to the graduate that you become when you leave the university? Assume a lecturer comes to class and lectures you on strategic leadership. What are the characteristics of a strategic leader? 1, 2, 3, 4. You are told, and that's it. So you may remember, you may forget, okay? And this is just an example, but you can think about it broadly in all the subjects. But if the teacher changes their way, the method of teaching, and comes and gives you some material to read on strategic leadership, and gives a very short lecture on strategic leadership, and tells you, go and research on the leaders we have in Africa and beyond. Whom do you think is a strategic leader? Then write for me a profile of a strategic leader. Then produce a small video on a strategic leader that you admire. You'll come out of that class, you will read, you will research, you will connect, because you will see so many personalities and you will connect with one, and you'll do a small video. In that video, you have to think about the graphics, You have to think about how you send the message across. You have to think about what bit you'll be speaking and what bit you'll be bringing in this leader, and how this video will incorporate some of the works that this leader has done which make him impressive. Now, let me ask you a question. Coming out of a class with that kind of mini project, will you forget who a strategic leader is? Will you not be motivated to be a strategic leader? Because you have internalized what it means to be a strategic leader. And so I am telling our lecturers, you have to change the way you teach so that we produce graduates who are multi-skilled, graduates who are upskilled, graduates who can, adapt to any work environment, and graduates who can also create jobs. Because from that little exercise, that student has learned so many skills that were not necessarily taught in class. And that is the way to go. The secret is in the pedagogy, the science and art of teaching.
Wow, that's really, spot on and direct to the point. Unajua unasema kuna mtu anapata kazi lakini kuna kazi imepata mwenyewe. Kama hiyo ni ya Dr. Beatrice Inyangala. Watu wa Kakamega tunawaonea mbali vile mmetuletea our great leader here. Now, let's come to online. Do we have people who are watching this program, and what do they have to say? Over to you,
Spox, before we go online,
yeah.
I think I just want to bring some figures into perspective. Since we introduced the changes in financing and implemented the student-centered funding model, the funding to universities has increased. In 2022, we had 45 billion for capitation and 17 for loans. So altogether, that was 62 billion. But now, this year, we have 94 billion going to universities. Wow. So that's an increment of 52%. Combined, the students who benefit from the new funding model and those who still benefit from loans, because they're now clearing out of the system, the students of the differentiated unit cost. Altogether, a total 835,000 students have benefited from government loans to enable them pursue their education.
Thank you very much. This is amazing. 94 billion, from 62. That's an increase of 52%. That's amazing. That's a whole 32 billion extra. Now, let's come to the questions. Over to you, Adhiambo.
Good afternoon, Dr. Beatrice. Our viewers would like you to respond to 3 questions. The first question, what steps are you taking to ensure that universities and campuses are verified and certified before they start operation? That is Dan Otieno from Voi on Facebook. The second, how are the universities prepared to receive the students from the competency-based education, being that CBE is more practical and most universities are theoretical? That is Faith Ngina from Nairobi on X. The last, there was a proposal to unify bursary schemes like NGCDF, county and national. What is the department's take or stand regarding this? That is Kevin Kipkemoi from Uasin Gishu County on TikTok. Thank you.
Can we give them a hand of a clap? Those are weighty and exciting questions. Yes. So first of all, we have the Commission for University Education, where I worked as a young professional and now I oversight. And the work of the commission is actually to take any prospective investor in a private university through the processes of ensuring that they meet the required standards. So a proposal will be submitted, and then the commission will visit to confirm that they have the land, about 50 acres, they have the facilities, they have the buildings, the labs, the equipment, and they also have programs that meet the set standards and adequate staff to teach in those programs. And I think that you have read some stories in the media where we have universities that are not accredited setting up. They have been arrested and put to book. So I want Kenyans to rest assured that the commission is very alert and it's monitoring the education landscape to ensure that the universities that operate are fully accredited. So the other question about how prepared we are for the competency-based education, I think I already answered that question, but I'll go back again. So the first thing is that when the students graduate from senior school, they must meet the expectations that will be set to join the universities. So as a State Department for Higher Education, we are working collaboratively with international partners and our local experts to develop a competency-based education and training framework. This framework is holistic. It defines the profile of the student to enter university to undertake various programs. It defines the content that will be covered. It defines the graduation expectations to be met. For now, universities are undertaking discrete activities, working on reviewing the curriculum. Because in the past, it was always take your notes and read them back. But we are no longer looking at that, because right now the question is education for what? To answer that question, education for what? Lecturers must design their teaching and learning objectives so that through whatever course content they are teaching, they are building skills and the capacities and competencies of students. So you can think of something like advocacy. Again, as I said, you can go and lecture about advocacy. Students will learn, they may remember, they may forget. But if a lecturer comes and designs a small project on advocacy and sends the students out there to actually undertake an advocacy project, say on mental health, and identify, individuals in the community who need help, and point that help to them or link them up with the sources that can provide help. You can see the kind of education, very practical and helpful, and the community can actually relate to that kind of education. And this is what the CB is all about. We have to change the science and art of teaching. What about the curriculum? The curriculum will more or less be the same in terms of the subject areas, because we know STEM, science, technology, education, and mathematics. We have those areas. We're already covering those areas. Then we have the social sciences. We're already covering that. Then we have the arts and the sports science. So there are certain gaps. For example, how many of our universities are offering art and design? How many are ready to offer woodwork? So those areas that are missing right now as we speak. Every staff of the State Department for Higher Education is out in the field collecting data from all the universities, public and private, to establish the capacities of universities to offer the different learning areas. When we get this report, we are going to identify the gaps, and we are going to work with these universities to start preparing, developing the infrastructure, getting the equipment, and even the lecturers who will teach in these areas. So I must say, as the university sector, we have started our preparations. We are making good progress. Universities are refining their curricula. Teachers are undergoing capacity building. And we are monitoring these developments and helping to catalyze this transition. So come 2029, oh my, we shall be more than ready to accommodate the students who will graduate from senior school. You take this to the bank.
So I think that's very wonderful.
Yeah.
Yes. I think the issue that we are dealing with is very complex, but also very right. Now, let me ask some few questions, then you can give us your closing remarks as you do so. Number one, The use of technology for our universities, are we still seeing yellow notes, regurgitated notes kind of thing? This CBC, are we now going to have 3 years of bachelor's education? The issue of student bed capacity, then also the issue of riots and maandamano ya wanafunzi, comrade power, I was a former student leader. And then finally, the issue of innovations. Then you give your closing remarks.
Yes, we know that we are living in the digital era. And so, as a State Department, we are working with universities to infuse technology in their programs. And it is not just about technology, say, in ICT, but it is ICT across all the learning areas. And you cannot think of a single area that does not require ICT. If it is music, the instruments require ICT. So advances in technology apply. If it is agriculture, we need to infuse technology for precision agriculture, to also look at how we respond to changing climatic conditions. Finance, it is obvious. Fintech is the buzzword. Medicine is also infusing technology. So we are infusing technology across all our learning areas and subject domains. In terms of the yellow page professors, we have really transformed. That adage is no longer applicable in our universities, because our lecturers are continuously undergoing pedagogical training,
yes,
so that they can, again, discard the yellow pages completely and teach, so that they produce graduates with the competencies that I have just emphasized. Innovation. We have a lot of innovations going on in these universities, both at the level of the lecturers and at the level of the students. The gap is how to move these innovations from the classroom, from the university to the market. And I'll give you 2 critical ones. At the University of Embu, they have innovated Crackfox cement that works like waterproof.
Oh, really?
And yes.
Amazing. That's amazing. That's really good. That is
Hello?
Professor...
Am I talking to someone?
Yeah. Professor Daniel Mugendi.
Yes,
he was my Deputy Vice Chancellor.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Yes.
How does it work, that one? That innovation?
Well, we don't want to go into the science of that,
okay.
But it works like waterproof. It prevents the water from infusing into the wall, the walls. Yes.
So you don't have like the way sometimes you finished construction
and there are cracks,
and also the wall is still wet many times.
No.
Many months later. Oh wow.
Yeah, actually, the university has invested some money to start some small scale production.
Oh wow. So they're already commercializing.
Places. Yes. And then University of Kabianga, there's a research project that discovered an enzyme that dehairs skin to produce pure leather.
Oh.
Pure leather.
Oh, wow. This is in Kabianga there, in Belgut.
And the remains are fit for animal feeds.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's a lot happening. We are working so hard, and that's why we have the State Department for Science, Research and Innovation to link this innovations to investors, so that they can then move into the market.
Okay.
Yes.
So finally, about the issue of, maybe your closing remarks.
The issue of
your closing remarks. Let's, because I'm being told by Diana here you've run the minutes. So,
okay. I want to assure the audience that the education sector is on the right course. We are transforming. We are ready to produce the graduates and a special cadre of professionals with the skills that we need to move this country to the status of Singapore. As stakeholders walk this journey with us, everybody has a part to play. The government is playing its part. As a parent, play your part. As a student, play your part. Work hard. And together we shall achieve. Asanteni sana.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. This is really wonderful, and that's takes us to the end of our program of Sema Spox. Mmesema na Spox? Vizuri kabisa. Kwa hivyo PS kuja hapa na hiyo mic, shika tu hiyo mic yako. Asante sana, tupigie PS makofi. Haya, angalia ile kamera pale, tuseme Sema na Spox, bonga na Gava. Sema na Spox, bonga na Gava. Mimi ni Mkenya mzalendo. Je, wewe? Mimi ni Mkenya mzalendo daima. Until next time, keep it right here on KBC and all our socials. God bless you. Asante sana.